Marketing Matrix podcast. I'm your host, Lisanne Murphy, and I am joined today by the incredible, talented Josh Cary. Josh, thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
I couldn't be happier to be here. Thank you so much, Lisanne.
Oh, guys, I am just so excited for you to hear from this entrepreneur. He is just bringing it today. As you know, we have his long episode that's going to be coming out in just a couple days. And so I'm excited to give you guys just a taste of who Josh is and what he's bringing to the table today. So I'm going to take a second to introduce this incredible entrepreneur, and I'm going to give him a chance to just blow our minds. So Josh is the co-founder of PodMAX, an on-air brands company, a podcast production and media company that provides training and events catered to entrepreneurs who have a meaningful message to share. Josh is also an accomplished podcast host of 2 shows with over 200 combined episodes, and he's a business coach to entrepreneurs who are ready, willing, and able to say F that noise. So be sure to check out his podcast, The Hidden Entrepreneur Show. He is also a proud father and credits his adoring 2 children with helping him to turn things around and embrace the mortality of life. Josh, again, thanks so much for taking the time to be with us today.
This is so great. Thank you.
Okay. So you're going to have to hear like the deep dive of his story in the next episode, but I want to give Josh a second now to just give you a brief overview of how he's created this on-air web of podcasting and how he got here, because it really is just so fascinating.
Well, sure. As you said, I am the hidden entrepreneur, and that's because I spent 40 years hiding. I showed up in every situation, hiding my full talent and ability, really everything that I was capable for, in exchange for desperately seeking the approval of everybody. And that gets very tiring very quickly. Today, as you said, I have 2 adoring children, a 6-year-old daughter, 4-year-old son. They, early on in their young lives, really helped me acknowledge that I see what's happening here. I'm the child in this circle, and I got work to do. And I made the choice to do that work. I knew that I was very miserable, very angry, day in and day out, which created that strife and that conflict. So I ripped the Band-Aid off in my then career. I spent 10 years running my own digital marketing agency. And I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm not sure where I'm going to go, but podcasting felt right. And I didn't have all the pieces. I didn't have all the answers, but I said, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to do it. I'll probably enjoy it. I might be decent at it. I'm going to learn as I go and see what happens. I'm going to keep my eyes open for opportunity and make the best of it. And here I am, like you said, 150 episodes later in The Hidden Entrepreneur. My other show is a weekly live show that we also turn into a podcast, On Air Brands Live. And I'm just doubling down and enjoying every minute of the podcast industry.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I love it. I love your story and your experience. So Josh, as part of this short episode, our listeners always look forward to our guests' answers to this one question. And that is, what small marketing strategy or tactic has made the biggest difference in your business and why?
For me, no surprise, it's been the podcast, right? That's a content marketing strategy. Even when I launched, I said, the podcast is going to be the marketing arm of my personal brand and what I'm developing for myself here. And let's go forward and see what happens. And again, keeping my eyes open for this opportunity. So showing up consistently and deliberately and often, putting out episode after episode has been the biggest marketing win for me. It puts me in a space where people look back when I get their attention and they say, wow, Josh Cary, he has all of these podcast episodes. That's great. And it means something because I have positioned myself and I have aligned myself exactly how I want to be, exactly how I want to be seen. And now I can connect all that to my goals. So now I'm seen as a competent person who is a podcast host. And now I can parlay that into whatever I want. I want to speak on stages. Great. I can work towards that because I have this sort of marketing stuff in play that people can see. They see that I am someone of my word, that by showing up consistently day in and day out, that I'm not a flake, that I'm kind of professional, that I do what I say I'm going to do, that I stick with it, that I have something to say, and then I get to be on shows like this to make everything even better.
I love it. So in your experience of creating over 200 combined episodes, and you mentioned that you help clients grow and expand their podcast, what are some key elements that makes a successful podcast? I mean, you mentioned obviously like consistency,
Yeah.
showing up, but like what makes a podcast great?
Such a great question. And it's an involved question because the barrier for entry is low. Anybody with a microphone can start a podcast, and many do. But once you do, you realize, oh my goodness, this is actually a thing. I don't have I don't have the heart for this. I see that in your first 10, 20, 50, 80 episodes, people might not be listening. So how are you going to come to terms with that? How are you going to show up day in and day out? People tune in to a show for the host. They don't show up for the guests day in and day out, week in and week out, whatever your schedule is. They show up for the host. So therefore, the biggest thing is to get yourself right, get yourself in order. For me, everything that I'm experiencing, all the success, whatever that is that I'm experiencing, is because I'm working on myself. The personal growth translates specifically into the professional development that I'm seeking. So to answer your question, the biggest thing is you have to come to the table as your most ideal self, whatever that persona looks like, however you are going to fit and sit behind that mic to attract the people you most want, both guests, if you're an interview style show, and listeners. That's the only way they're going to come to the table. You have to attract them. You can't grab them. You can't force them. They have to want to tune in because who you are behind the mic, the energy that you provide, the value that you give, and the only way you do that in a significant way is by getting yourself right, whatever that means. And I know we touched upon that in the upcoming episode.
I love it. I love how I'm noticing a theme with you, Josh, that like everything comes back to the inside of the entrepreneur.
That's what's worked for me. There's no other way. I tried for 40 plus years focusing on the outside. I'd scribble something. Oh, they didn't buy this product. They didn't like this. It flopped. Nobody cared. Oh, I'm just going to scribble harder. I'm going to type the sales letter harder and then bigger, and then they'll like it. I'll reduce the price. I'll raise the price. I'll give it away. Then they'll care. Nobody cares. They don't care when all this outside nonsense is happening. They care when you get out of your own way and experience the infinite potential that we all have inside and say, I'm showing up. Who's attracted to this? You're attracted, you are. You're not, you're not. But I'm showing up today. Nothing happened today. Well, I'm bettering myself. I'm showing up tomorrow. This is the only place it can begin, within.
I love it. Oh, so good. So good. Josh, I want to thank you so much for coming and being a part of the Marketing Matrix show. How can people find you and follow your journey?
Thanks for asking. My website, joshcary.com, is the fork in the road. It has links to all my social platforms. It has episodes of my shows that you can listen to, and many of them have videos that you can watch. And it has a link to PodMAX. So that's the hub where you can go and experience whatever you wish.
I love it. Well, we will for sure put that in the episode notes so people can check that out. And guys, Josh Cary has just brought it today. And he also has shared about PodMAX and how they're doing online events. PodMAX Global is a new virtual event that they've started. So if you have a podcast or you're interested in it, make sure to check that out. Guys, this is Josh Cary. He's the hidden entrepreneur, but he is not hidden today. We see you, Josh. Thank you so much for coming on the Marketing Matrix.
This was so thrilling, Lisanne. Thank you so much.